Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Stephanie from Behind the Designs, and today we're going to get a little crafty. I have a fun little craft. It's brand new and you're going to love it. All right, so when I introduced the March Jane's Agenda sub box, I mentioned that I had a new idea for the tissue paper that was used. You know, you get tissue paper in every box. And I wasn't going to make this time necessarily a planner thing. So, you know, I've done dashboards, that kind of thing. So I had come up with this new idea, and that's what we're going to do today. I've already used some of it because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing and like how I was going to set it up. So I will bring that finished one in as soon as we do this one. So what I'm going to do is show you. So the tissue paper, you know, you can laminate it. You can make a bookmark, a dashboard. There's so many uses to the tissue paper. You can use it in junk journaling, journal pages. There really is no limit. But this time I wanted to do something for the home, and I had these for a different purpose, but I think I'm going to use them for this, or more to the point, I am, because I already did one. So let me show you the finished one. I was going to wait, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So see, isn't this adorable? So this is a beaded glass plate that I found at Target in the dollar spot. Comes in a set of 2, and I had purchased them because I had bought them to match something I bought, I want to say a couple years ago. Hadn't done anything with them yet. So this is what we're doing today. And although it may seem easy, you know, it doesn't mean that it's going to be. Every craft has its own challenges. So with this, I'm going to give you some tips along the way. And then I'm going to talk more about like what I'm doing with them. And I won't be finished. The second part of this tissue paper craft is, you know, at the end of the video, and I'm doing something extra to it. So, you know, watch the whole video, stay tuned. Okay, so let me set this aside. And let me start bringing out my supplies. So I have my tissue paper. I have matte Mod Podge. And there's a couple different things with the Mod Podge. There's different versions. So like there's a sparkle version, there's a gloss, and there's a ton. There's some for paper. It's limitless. So with this is what I had in my craft room. So I'm going to use this. Now, if you're going to do the same thing and you don't want to have to worry about the dish, you know, once you've used it, because you can absolutely use the dish. You can do one of two things. You can, I'm just bringing in some stuff. I think I will set this on here. Okay. So first step, let me get started and then I'll talk more about the Mod Podge. You're going to turn your plate over, and to help me keep it elevated, I'm going to bring in a box I had laying around, just so I can keep it up off the table. And then you're going to need these are called nipper scissors, and you'll know why once I get working in it. And then also one more pair of scissors. Let me grab that. Okay. So here's the caveat with the plate. The plate has a flat bottom, but all of the part here that is waved, let me see if I can, it's waved. So at every part where it's low, it bumps up. So all along the edge, there's a wave. So my first tip is don't cut your tissue paper to match the shape of the plate. Don't do that right off the bat, or else it'll, you'll find out you're gonna run short. So here's my first problem. I did the one plate, and I now have this hole in my tissue paper. So the other thing you don't have to do is you do not have to iron this unless you feel the need to. You don't really need to iron it. So here's the first most important tip. Before you cut or decide what you're doing, flip the tissue paper. So you can see this side of the green is a little more dull, whereas that side's the vibrant, because when you turn it over, you want the vibrant color on the inside. So just make sure you flip the tissue paper. Let me see if I can do this without ripping it anymore. So this one's going to present a few challenges because I do have this little hole. So here's what I'm going to do. I think I mostly have it covered. So I'm going to make the call. I'm going to just take some of this off. Let's just cut away a little bit. The nice thing about Mod Podge is there's no mistakes. You can pretty much fix anything. All right, so let's get this off. Now, I would say don't get rid of your tissue paper. So hold on to your tissue paper. So as you can see, there will be some fixings that I need to make. So what I want to do is kind of corral them all where it's ripped here. So let's do that. Let's make sure I have enough going over here. Let me just trim these corners. And again, keep your pieces. I'm not going to trim this side because, again, I want it as much as I can over there. And then this side. I'm just kind of taking off the corner. All right. So let's get decoupaging. Okay, so, and again, because I already used some of the tissue and I had this big rip in it, this one won't have as much of the design on it as the other one did. So you can see when I flip it, it'll kind of have a blank spot. And I may use this as my test. These are just 2 little plates for us here. I don't know. Let's see. What do I want to do? I think I'm going to leave it because I don't know that. Let me get these little pieces away. Let's see. Let's cut that off. So what if I did, I'm trying to find the design that is over here. So it'd be sort of this one, maybe. So here's the problem when you're trying to fit things in. It's not going to be perfect. So for all intents and purposes, I could kind of cut this section out and put in another element. And that was kind of what I was going to test. Oops. So let's see. Let's cut off all this excess. Okay. Let's see if I can't. I'll test this for you. So I had a whole piece. I did the plate. And now I think I'm going to try inserting a separate piece. So this ought to be interesting. So let's see if I do it this way. I have to kind of cut this out now. This is the interesting part. Now, before you even get started, it's best to make sure you wash your plate, warm soap and water, because, you want to make sure you get off any of the chemicals or, you know, anything they may have used in the production process. So let's, hopefully I did this right because you never know. All right, let's take this little piece off. Okay, and then let's cut this piece out all the way. Okay, how'd we do? I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but you'll see what I mean. Let's see. I think it's fair. I think it'll work. So before I did this one, I kind of need to anchor this. So, okay, I think that's where I need to anchor it. So here's this extra piece. Let's just start. We don't want this piece on there. That would not be good. Okay. Oops. Messy, messy. All right. So I need to anchor this. So okay. This just gives me a little bit of an anchor. So now all you have to do is, let's make sure I get this right. Go through, get your glue on, and you're really just kind of putting it all over. You can goop it on. It isn't going to matter because it's going to dry clear. And you can see there's spots, but that's okay. The key is to get it down before it dries too much. And of course, with a plate that's round, it is kind of hard to keep it steady. So as you're doing it, if you find, you know, kind of like tiny bubbles, just kind of use your brush to pat it away. Okay. Now, before I get too far, I want to get this middle piece in here. So let me get this, actually, oh, dropping the piece. Let me get this actually all the way over because I'm going to need that other side to be glued as well. Not glued, but decoupage. And it doesn't have to be fancy or pretty. Oops, just stuck my fingers in it. Again, as I said, that's the problem with a round plate, is you got to figure out where you're grabbing it. I originally was going to just put it as a circle. Like I was going to cut out the circle, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because I found that I would have had issues. I'm going to get a bigger, you can use like this kind of brush, like a bristle brush. You can use a what is it, a sponge brush. All of those will work just fine. Oop. This side had a little bit more on it, a little more tissue on the edges. Let me just bring this all over. And I'm going to cut this little piece off here. I don't want it to overlap. I'm peeling it up a little because I didn't get any glue here. And you will find if you didn't get the glue under it, you can kind of see it. So I'm just going to bring it over a little bit more. Okay, now we're good. So this one may not be as perfect as the first one because again, I was working with a less amount of tissue paper. Oops. Okay. Seal that down. I am going to just take a little of this off now. Okay. Okay, now let's do this middle part. Okay, I was gonna do it. So I'm just kind of moving it into place. Okay. Let's seal it down. And basically what I'm doing now is I'm just filling it in, but I don't really know how it's going to turn out. So we are going to see. And that's all I'm going to do with those other spots as well. I'm just going to fill it in, which was the reason for keeping the extra tissue paper. So let's take this one, cut it down. I have like 3 pairs of scissors. I need to fill in this little sliver right here. Let's see if I got it. Okay, that moved into place nicely. All right. So let's see. It's going around. I'm just checking. So I need to fill in all this space here. So let's see, what have we got? And I'm just going to use like spare pieces. Hopefully it won't be too obvious. Let's see. I mean, you're crafting right along with me. You can see a little. Oops. that I can seal down. And basically all you're looking for is the edge that's hanging over the beaded part, because that's not, you don't want that. It takes a little patience to get all the way around the plate, but it pays off. I think I've got it all. Get some of those pieces out of the way. All right. So once you get it all trimmed out, just go back over the edges with a little more decoupage. And then this is also where you can move into place some of the pieces maybe that, you know, weren't quite where they're supposed to be, may have gone off of the plate. All right, so now that I'm nearing the end, let me, you know, kind of chit chat a little bit about decoupage. So it is water soluble. So obviously when you finish with your brush, you can use just soap and water, warm water, rinse it off. This particular matte or medium, which is matte, I am going to need to, if I want to wash the dishes, which I do, for the time being, because I don't have it just yet, and I did intend to use it today because it is St. Patrick's Day. But there is a another medium that you can use to cover it. It's like a varnish. That would seal this. If you wanted to use it in the dishwasher, there is a dishwasher specific Mod Podge. So again, when you're buying it, just make sure what you're getting, you know, read the bottle. But there is a dishwasher safe one. All right, I think I have all my edges. Let me just do a once over. This edge has a bit of a bubble, so I want to smooth it out. Okay, I think it's as good as I can get it, piecing everything together. Okay, so let's get this closed so I don't dry it out. My bottle is almost gone, so I'm probably going to need to do a replacement at some point. All right, so that's done. Let's see, all this I gotta clean off. Let's move this out of the way. The other thing you can do is, if you're not quite sure, because the more you use your brush on here, you might pull parts of it. So the other thing you can use is just good old-fashioned plastic wrap, and grab a piece. It doesn't have to be, again, doesn't have to be perfect. All you're gonna do is this. You'll lay it across the plate and you'll kind of rub it on. And all you're gonna do is seal down any edges that might be showing. Now, the nice thing is it's not gonna ruin your design. You just gently pull it up, move it to the other side. My concern is making sure I get my edges down because that's where water can get into. And as I said, I am planning on using these tonight, which is Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day. And so I will have to take care when I wash them. And that's it. Okay, so this is going to set aside and dry. I am going to move some of these pieces of tissue paper out of the way temporarily. Let's move all that. Let's move this. It should be close enough. So as I was saying, it should be close enough that I can show you the finished product. Now, let me grab the plate. And actually, let me grab a piece of paper so you can see it better. Okay. See how pretty that is? So again, I will have to take care when I wash it, maybe just do this. But they're all ready for tonight. And then I had the cup. So these cups I purchased from, both things are from Target. This was Dollar Spot. This was Dollar Spot as well. But I got this one, I want to say 2 or more years ago. And then when I saw these, I'm like, you know what? Now I found my project. So tissue paper's on the plate. And then I was deciding what I wanted to do with the cup. And it didn't have, I didn't have a matching green to the tissue paper to use on the side. I want to do something on the side as decorative. And so what I did was I did, again, extra tissue paper on the bottom, same process. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to add a little Cricut to, a little vinyl to the cup. So here is my holder. And I want to add it just along the edge here. So I don't want to spray it because I don't want to get the tissue paper wet. So I'm just going to spray the napkin. All right. And I'm going to clean the edge of the cup. I'm also going to clean this one. There is 2. Okay. So alcohol just takes off any oils that I may have missed during the wash process. And what I wanted to do, since I couldn't find a matching green, was I decided to add gold for St. Patrick's Day, and I cut out these. Okay, at some point my video turned off, so I'm not sure when it stopped, but I'm going to quickly keep going. I've restarted. Hopefully everything gets recorded. So all I'm doing is getting the shamrocks onto the tape, the transfer tape. All right, so let's see. Because I want to take the backing off of it. All right. And let's get it on the cup. So see, adorable little shamrocks. Let's give it a little burnish. How cute is that? So adorable. Okay, let's do this one. Hopefully the video stays on long enough. All right, let's get this weeded out. As you can see, I am doing a little bit of a rush job because I want to make sure that this fully comes through for you. Okay, perfect. All right, let's get this on. Let's try and get it on in the same pattern maybe. Let's see. So stinking cute, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. That one is still a little wet, so I don't really want to bring it out and stick it on the paper. But look at how cute this is. I mean, I've got the shamrocks in gold. I've got the nice green tissue paper inside. I've got it on the plate. I mean, I love how this came out. And I do think my camera is a bit wonky. Like it's not set up right. Let's see. All right, so I think I tried to adjust it as best as possible. Again, this is almost a piecemeal because at some point my camera kind of just turned off on me. So there's nothing I can do about that. But I did finish tissue paper, Mod Podge. Again, I'm using matte. You can use whatever you want. If you wish to put these things in the dishwasher, just make sure to buy the dishwasher safe one and it'll say it on there. But you can absolutely use a varnish to finish off the design. I will be using these tonight, as I said, and then I will varnish them afterward, but I'll be super careful to not mess it up. So just a little bit of tissue paper craft using the March tissue paper from the sub box from Jane's Agenda, and some Cricut and a little gold sparkle. So I love it. It came out perfect. I hope you enjoyed the video, as clunky as it was, but it gave you hopefully some ideas or inspired you to do something different with the tissue paper. I mean, isn't this just perfect? So cute. All right. So there it is. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I would truly appreciate it if you remember to hit that subscribe button and the like button, and I will see you on the next video.